All right, my friends, if you are ready to finally stop letting perimenopause symptoms control your game and get you back to dominating the track, then you, my friend, are in the right place. So, welcome all my roller derby athletes going through the change, or those about to go through the change, or those who many years from now are going to go to the change. We feel you and we are here for you. So, I am very excited about our chat today. As we get everyone hopping on, hello. Please go ahead and comment in the chat real quick. What is your name? Where are you from? What are you most excited about? If you're watching live or you are watching the recording, go ahead and grab something to take some notes with, and just get ready because we're really just going to dive right into this thing. And if you are someone who is watching the recording, please make sure that you comment below right now with recording so that we know that you jumped on this powerful game-changing training if you are watching it in the future. If you are watching it live, comment with live because you know that you are excited to be here with us. Yeah. Awesome. I'm just going to go ahead and pop out my comments really quick. Oop. There we go. Boom. Perfecto. All right. Here we go. So we are just going to dive into it. So here's the deal. You are here because you have been struggling with fatigue. You have energy loss during crucial moments. You're probably dealing with unpredictable mood swings, and this might be affecting your focus or your performance. You're probably battling some kind of like weight gain or like body changes that might be even impacting your agility on the track. And I'm willing to bet you're probably experiencing like disrupted sleep patterns. This is affecting your overall recovery and kind of just making you feel like shit. If you resonate with one or all of those, please comment in the chat. Comment in the chat with a 1 if you resonate with one or all of those situations. Because it goes deeper than this, right? Like it's deeper than just physical symptoms. And you know that if you don't fix this stuff now, these next couple years of your life are going to suck so hard, right? Which means that you're going to be so exhausted, feel like shit, and then your passion for derby is going to fade and your performance is going to suffer. You're going to get super frustrated. And it's almost like the very essence of who you are as an athlete ends up feeling like it's at stake, right? So to make it even worse, this is the thing that I don't want for you, okay? I don't want you to lose your edge on the track and miss out on opportunities because you don't have focus and feel defeated by changes that are happening to your body, right? And I don't want you to feel at war with your body. That's the number one thing, okay? Every woman is going to go through this change. It's just a reality. And if we feel at war with our body instead of learning how to work with our bodies, it's a miserable half a decade, right? And so this is where my derby menopause method comes in, okay? And this is what we're going to walk through today. So again, if you haven't got something to take some notes with, go run and get something right now. If you're watching the recording, pause this, go grab something. Because there are 5 specific factors that you need to tweak to work with your body instead of against your body. And if you take these on, the cool thing is you can actually tackle perimenopause head on, right? And this is going to get you back to peak performance. This is going to get you working with your body instead of against your body, okay? For those of you guys that are new here, hi, I'm Chrissy Crash. I've been playing roller derby since 2006. Over the course of that many years, almost 20 years in roller derby, I have won 3 consecutive championships with my team, the LA Derby Dolls Tough Cookies. I have gone on to finish 4th place with Angel City Derby in 2014, which was almost 10 years ago now, which is crazy. As well as I've competed in several WFTDA playoffs. I've competed bank track. I've competed flat track. I know the ins and outs of how hard it is to be an athlete and have no idea where to start. When I first started playing roller derby, I was a smoker, drinker, fast food eater, never really been an athlete. And I found this sport and I fell in love with it. And I just wanted to learn how to get better at it. And, you know, I started playing when I was in my mid-20s, and now turning 40, I am acutely aware of the shifts that are happening in my body. And so I have been really proactively working on what can I do to get prepared? Because so many women go into menopause and it's like this huge surprise, right? And so I want to support my derby sisters in being able to stay powerfully in the sport while going through this change. Okay. And also, a little fun fact, I was actually also one of the Manson sisters in that movie Whip It that came out 100 years ago. Yes, it's true. I'm a roller derby grandma, but I am a very wise roller derby grandma, so don't you worry. So basically, I mean, I have over 15 years of experience in sports nutrition, in performance coaching, obviously 18 years in roller derby. I've helped hundreds of athletes just like you reclaim their strength and their vitality. And I'm going to show you how to do the same things. Okay. So these 5 things that I'm going to share with you, okay, these are 5 really, really key pieces to conquering perimenopause as a roller derby athlete. Okay. And at the end, this is going to be a good bit of information. So at the end, I promise I'm not just going to throw all this information at you and then leave you to your own devices. So for those of you guys that have questions, or maybe you want like some additional support, I'm going to share with you how I can actually help you execute these 5 steps ASAP. Okay. So if you're watching live or if you're watching the recording, you can drop a 1 in the chat if you are ready to dive into this stuff. Here we go. Okay. So let's get into it. So what I'm going to show you, I call it the Derby Menopause method. Okay. And this can completely revolutionize your approach to perimenopause as a roller derby athlete. Okay. These are not mind blowing aha moments, but they're very, very key and they're very, very strategic. And oftentimes athletes overlook these things. And one of the things that we always teach inside of Crash Course is the foundation is the fundamentals. Okay. If you're out here chasing the shiny, fancy thing, that's probably not the thing that's going to get you the results that you want. Oftentimes it's the fundamentals and then developing the discipline to doing the fundamentals. Okay. So the Derby Menopause method involves 5 key points for roller derby athletes. So here we go. Number 1, nutrition optimization. Number 2, training modifications. Number 3, mindset resilience. Number 4, recovery techniques. And number 5, consistent support system. Okay, now as I go through each of these, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you guys rate yourself. Okay, so when I go through nutrition optimization, at the end, I want you to rate yourself on a scale of 1 through 5 of how well are you handling that portion. Okay, 1 being like, I'm absolutely slaying it. 1 being like I absolutely suck at it. 5 being like I'm totally crushing it. Okay, really quick comment in the chat with I'm here if you can see me, just because I think my Wi-Fi just went a little wacky. All right, perfect. So, all right, point number 1, nutrition optimization. Okay, so nutrition optimization is essentially tailoring your nutrition plan to focus on fueling your body for optimal performance during a time when your hormones are shifting. What happens is as we move into perimenopause, our body metabolizes carbohydrates differently, which because we get really crappy at metabolizing carbohydrates, it ends up causing these huge spikes and crashes in energy. And a lot of times it contributes to a lot of annoying weight gain. You may have noticed as you've gotten older that your hangovers get worse, right? This is also the same sort of mechanical process. Things like sugar makes you like extra cracked out. Right? This is because your body is not as good now at metabolizing this stuff. So this matters because if you understand the hormonal shifts in your body, then you can fine tune your nutrition so that you can boost energy levels, you can enhance recovery, you can maintain muscle mass that you're going to start to lose. Okay. So it's really, really key that you understand that shifting your nutrition is about adjusting things based on those hormones. Okay. So what you want to do, the big pieces of this is understanding that it's time to go higher protein and higher fat. Okay. Higher protein and higher fat. I'm just going to refresh this really quick. There we go. Cool. Still live. So higher protein, higher fat. The reason why is your body is just going to be happier metabolizing these 2 things. The higher protein is going to keep your muscle mass up because we tend to lose muscle as, ignore time limit for today. There we go. Keeping your protein up is going to be really, really important because we tend to lose muscle mass as we get older. So we want to give our body as many building blocks to work with as we can. Fat is a really great way to start replacing out some of your carbohydrates as your fuel source. I'm not like a keto person, so I'm not going to be like, you should just go keto. But what I am going to say is be really mindful of when you're eating your carbohydrates, knowing that your body and your system are going to process them not well. Okay, so the way that I focus on my carbohydrates is I typically focus my carbs around my training sessions, around my practices as a form of energy. So complex carbohydrates before practices, before games, before a workout, that's when I typically use them. The rest of the day, I go pretty like high fat, high protein. Like I'm more likely to have like a handful of almonds than just a piece of fruit. Don't get me wrong, I love fruit. I eat it all the time. But like as like a standalone snack, maybe I'm going to have like a little bit of like chicken and some nuts instead of having like fruit or something like that. Okay? So start to look at where in your nutrition right now are you just kind of consuming carbohydrates through the day, and how is that impacting your energy levels, especially as your hormones are starting to change. Okay, so for female athletes that are perimenopausal, postmenopausal, you want to be shooting for right around 1.8, so approximately 2 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. Okay, and what happens is because as estrogen declines and we have more insulin, it makes it harder for our body, basically, it makes it harder for our body to make muscle. Okay, so we want to think about upping the amount of protein we're eating. An easier way to think about this so you don't have to do math, your goal is 25 to 30 grams of protein every 3 to 4 hours in your snacks, in your meals, and then pairing these up with omega 3s, green leafy vegetables, and even things like soybeans. As we go into menopause, our estrogen levels are dropping. There has been some research that shows that consuming products that have soy in them actually can help balance out those dropping estrogen levels. Okay, so I mean, just think about it. If you made that one tiny switch, imagine how much having sustained energy throughout your matches would make you feel. Imagine how confident you'd feel coming to practice knowing that you weren't dragging ass, right? So right now in the chat, I want you to rate yourself and your current nutrition habits. And if you see, based on what I've said, if there's any areas for improvement, go ahead and put those in there as well. Okay, perfecto. Boom. All right, so next one. So let's talk about training modifications. Okay, part 2 is training modifications. So as we are going through menopause and perimenopause, we have to start thinking about adjusting our training routines so that they accommodate the changes in energy levels and the recovery that we need during perimenopause to continue to strength train. Okay, now the best thing that you can do is you want to think about tailoring your workouts to work with your body. The reason why is because we want to prevent injury, we want to maintain strength, we want to improve agility, right? But we want to do it without totally burning your body out. A lot of studies have actually found that women who maintain some physical activity and strength training during menopause, they lose less muscle and they have less symptoms of perimenopause. So actually doing strength training workouts and high intensity interval training will actually help ease some of these symptoms, right? So think about it, especially if you're someone who was not eating well and then you're eating like maybe excess in carbohydrates, but you're doing some high intensity interval training. Now all of a sudden your body has a place to use those carbohydrates. But if you do both, it's even better. Okay, so how you want to do this is think about balancing high intensity interval sessions with recovery. Okay, so having high intensity sessions and then recovery days, incorporating flexibility in. You can do your flexibility on your recovery days, because this, and then adapt to hormone fluctuations. Just like, and maybe you don't do this, but this is something that I teach in Crash Course, is I teach my clients that one of the things we want to focus on is as our menstrual cycle wavers, so should our training. If there's a week where your period is about to start, your hormone levels have dropped, because that's really what it is. It's not we're hormonal, like our hormones are jacked. We're hormonal as in our hormones drop right before our period, and we get all like, ugh, right? That might be a good week for a rest day, right? Similarly, if you're having like some big, heavy hormonal symptoms from perimenopause, might be a good day for a rest day. So when you're working on your workouts, though, I want you to target full body and core 3 times a week. Okay. Adding in the bonus is if you can do these as high intensity interval training workouts, because then you're knocking out the core and the full body training at the same time. Okay. I mean, think about it. If you had a structured workout plan, right, that also had the flexibility for when your hormones dropped, think about how much your game would change on the track, right? Instead of just burning the candle at both ends, guessing, being hard on yourself if you need to switch a workout, right? So right now, I want you to evaluate your current training regimen. and then decide if it aligns with your needs right now. Are you doing enough? Are you doing not enough? So rate yourself, scale of 1 to 5. 1 being not doing anything, 5 being like, I'm doing the perfect amount. 1 could also be, I'm completely overtraining and exhausting myself, right? So it's important that you really, really know if you're burning yourself out, okay? So that's number 2. Number 3 is mindset resilience, okay? So here's the thing. When you're developing strategies to overcome things like mood swings, anxiety, self-doubt, these things are going to be really common during perimenopause, okay? And you need to start shifting from this concept of your body is fighting against you to this is a natural progress and I need to work with it until it's done. What happens is a lot of times people treat menopause like it's a disease and that it's not normal. But the reality is every single woman everywhere is going to go through it, okay? It's normal. It's part of being a woman, having menopause, having a period, having menopause, and going through it. Okay, so why does this matter? Well, the thing is if you're working on the nutrition and you're working on the training, but you're not focusing on mental resilience, the problem is that you're going to lose the ability to maintain focus. You're going to lose confidence. You're going to lose motivation in general. And you're probably going to be pretty anxious and depressed. Okay, so the key to really focusing on these mindset practices, I want you to think about mindful practices, and I'm going to bring up something specifically called cognitive behavioral therapy. If you're not pretty familiar with CBT, CBT is all about reframing the things that are happening in your life. It's something that works really well, especially like on the track for roller derby. It's really great for anxious skaters. It's really great for skaters that have imposter syndrome. And it's also really great for someone going through perimenopause. Okay, because there's the thing that happens, there's the factual thing that happens. I'm having a hot flash, right? And then there's the way that we react to it, which is, oh, I ramp up my stress. I have all these negative emotions. I start freaking out. You think, oh man, like my body is so shitty, right? So now you're jacking up your nervous system because you're so freaked out about having this hot flash. Okay, so the way that you think about a symptom can affect your emotions and behaviors. The way you think about the game coming up can affect your emotions and behaviors. It can increase anxiety, it can increase tension, it can make your symptoms even worse because you're setting yourself up for this really vicious repeating cycle. Okay, so for example, let's use hot flashes again. So instead of thinking like hot flashes come up, you're like, oh, my body is revolting against me. I can't believe I have to do this for 5 years. How am I going to do this? It's going to be so awful. Why do I have to be a woman? This is fucking bullshit, right? But instead, what if you paused, you feel it coming on, you're prepared, you know you have hot flashes, so you've bought a little fan, right? You're wearing layers so that you're ready to take them all off when it gets super hot. You feel a hot flash coming and you go, my thermal regulation is really off. Yeah, this is just part of the process. And maybe I can figure out what's triggering this. And you realize like, oh, had a glass of wine last night. Totally threw my system off. Maybe that was it. You know, it doesn't mean that you're not going to feel emotions around it. Okay. But it is going to let you be a little bit more detached. And what happens is when we have that sort of space, that detachment, it turns down our stress response and it's going to improve your ability to problem solve, right? So it allows you to really create that space. So whether it's the next game coming up or it's low energy or it's a hot flash, if you're having a catastrophic thought and you feed it and you fuel it and you believe it, you're going to be in hell. Or you can say, oh, it's just a thought. It's just a hot flash. Just got to get through this one. And that's it. Okay, so imagine if you started using this kind of reframing throughout the perimenopausal process. Imagine if you used it throughout your whole life. This is a big thing that we teach inside of Crash Course in Transformation. You know, we work with a lot of athletes on reframing their thoughts to reduce anxious feelings, right? I mean, just imagine how good it would feel if you felt in control of your mind around your symptoms instead of your symptoms running your mind, okay? So right now, in the chat, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5 on how well are you currently dealing with your mental state during perimenopausal symptoms or even during competitions. How's your mental state in general? Okay. Number 4, recovery techniques. Okay, so implementing recovery strategies to enhance your muscular repair and reduce inflammation and promote restful sleep is a key part of being an athlete. Okay. You can be go, go, go all the time, but even more so now during the change, it's important for you to really slow down. Even without the change going on, you could still burn the candle at both ends and burn yourself out. But right now, you're going to be so much more sensitive that it's not an option. Okay. So the key here is that proper recovery is going to be essential for number one, preventing burnout, number two, optimizing performance, and number three, just supporting your overall well-being, right? Because what happens on the track is important, but you also have to think about your entire life. So the big pieces of this is really understanding the importance of sleep quality, active recovery, and stress relief. Okay, so one of the key things to know is that during this change, easy training and recovery days are essential. So here's the way I want you to think about it. Make your hard days hard and your easy days truly easy. Stop spending 7 days a week in this no man's land where you push a little bit and then you chill out, but you're like kind of going, but not like as extra hard as you could. Like think about this like skating with someone that's just a little too fast for you to keep up, and you're trying to do it 7 days a week. You're going to get exhausted. You're going to get run down, right? You're not going to experience the same kind of positive training responses as you would with like sprint interval training and then easy endurance training. Okay. So think about having 3 days a week, like we talked about, where you have those hard, tough workouts. And then you have 4 days a week where you're in stretch, recovery, flexibility, yoga mode, right? And then obviously you have practices, right? This really, you guys, this is so key. And the biggest piece to this, it's going to require like a mental switch of allowing yourself to rest without feeling like you're falling behind. Okay. This is old dieter mind bullshit. It's very, very key to understand that thinking more is better when it comes to exercise is just flat out wrong. Okay. More is not better. More is just more. Okay. The second piece of this is that sleep is really, really crucial to balancing your hormones. So having a really great nighttime routine. Ask yourself, how is your nighttime routine? How is your sleep hygiene? Do you have a TV in your bedroom? Are you sitting on your phone glued to Instagram right before you go to bed? These two things will sabotage your sleep. Similarly, caffeine, spicy foods, alcohol, drinking alcohol before bed, you guys, is one of the surefire ways to just annihilate all of your sleep cycle. Okay. Similarly, eating crappy food will do the same, especially eating like high carb right before bed, especially as someone going through perimenopause, where your body really sucks at processing those carbohydrates. Your sleep's going to be shit. Okay. So really, really understand that if you can manage those things, caffeine, spicy foods, alcohol, sleep routine, like watching TV, being glued to your phone, these are all things that are going to necessarily contribute to like having more severe hot flashes at night. Okay. You can also prepare, wear layers to bed, have a fan, like prepare yourself. If you're with a significant other, they need to know that right now you rule the thermostat, and that's just all there is to it. Right. So think about this. Think about if you got your recovery under control. Imagine feeling refreshed and rejuvenated when you show up to practice. Imagine waking up each morning ready to tackle the next challenge, right? And this is what's possible if you take this on. So assess your current recovery habits, identify areas where you can improve for better performance, okay? So ask yourself and then put it in the chat right now. 1 being crappy recovery, 5 being I'm kicking ass at recovery. Okay, coming up on our last one. So the final piece is consistent support systems. Okay, so establishing a really great support system during this time, coaches, teammates, professionals to guide you through this process is really, really key. Having like that really strong support system, it's going to give you encouragement. It's going to give you accountability. It's going to give you a place to kind of like vent some of those negative emotions with someone that understands. So my recommendation is that you really build a team of friends, women that have gone through this already, experts, coaches, to really support you through this process, because having extra accountability when you're dealing with this kind of stuff is so important. This change, it's not overnight. And so you need support through those couple of years that this is going on. And especially if the people around you don't understand, it's important that you find some people that do. Okay, because it's going to help you like manage frustrations and things like that. So imagine if you had this team of individuals that's cheering you on, that's pushing you to new heights, that's saying it's okay to rest right now, that's saying we feel you and we hear you and you're supported. Right? So ask yourself right now on a scale of 1 to 10, how is that for you? How is your support system when it comes to perimenopause? 1 being like I'm all by myself, 5 being like I've got the best support system ever. Okay, I'm just going to take 1 sec here and I just want to peruse through these comments. Awesome. Hi, Jessica. Hi, Lindsay. Hey, Robin. Perfecto. All right, sweet. Okay. Woo! That was a lot. So if you have been, looking at testimonials through my podcast, through Instagram, through Facebook, you know that the kinds of transformations you're looking for and the kind of support that you need as a roller derby athlete is 100% possible, right? I mean, with Crash Course, we've helped 100 bajillion athletes like that go through these challenges, whether it's perimenopause, whether it's chasing a roster spot on a team where you're not being seen, right? Like we have worked with this specific derby menopause method. This fits exactly inside what we teach in the Crash Course philosophy, right? And so the key that you need to understand is you need to take on that method. And I told you at the beginning of the call that if you need more help, I would show you what to do. But here's the deal. You don't need me, okay? You have the option to take everything that I've taught you and you've seen the system, okay? You've got the information now and you can 100% go and apply it for yourself, or you can go faster, okay? And here's how to go faster. I want to help you go faster. Okay, so we've set aside a couple of hours in our calendar this week for free strategy sessions with our strategy coach, Pam. She's incredible. She's a bank track, flat track skater. And here's what you guys would do together on this call. So you would set specific goals for the next 6 months so you can get clear on where you want to go. Okay? Ask yourself right now, where do you want to be 6 months from now? If you have just been living day to day up till now, hoping it all work out, it's not. Especially when it comes to a process like perimenopause, where it's like you're in this for years, right? So we have to have these goals set in place. Number 2, you guys are going to unblock some roadblocks and you're going to look at, okay, what's getting in the way of you unleashing your most confident self on the track so you can get really, really clear on exactly what you have to do to get past perimenopause and level up. Which of those 5 areas are you getting stuck on the most? Plus, we're going to set up a 12-week roadmap for implementing the Derby Menopause method that I just showed you. Okay, so we've got a limited number of these spots available. So if you're serious about taking your performance to the next level, you can sign up and secure a spot right now. Just go right now, click on my name. So go to Facebook. Or if you're watching this recorded, you can also click the button down below. Tap on it, go to my profile on Messenger, and you can shoot me a message right now that says menopause strategy session. Okay, that's all you have to do. Perimenopause strategy session. That's all you have to do. Because I mean, at the end of the day, I'm just suggesting you make a decision for yourself, right? It's time to stop like living in overwhelm and it's time to take control of your performance. Okay, you have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. So once again, go click the button, DM me the word strategy session, and let's elevate your roller derby game together and learn to work with our bodies instead of against them. I'll see you guys later.